has enough attention been brought to the Latino growth in the last census count and the projections going forward? It seems to me that if you don't realize that Latinos will soon make up the largest demographic group in Texas, you've been living under a rock, or you simply are living in denial. What are the ways that Texas advocacy groups and elected officials can ensure that Latinos will be empowered and prepared to be productive citizens of Texas moving forward? Senator?
2.1 million Hispanics in Texas are not registered to vote. 2.1 million. Not registered to vote, much less do they vote. Do the rest of those that are registered vote? We have to vote. I mean, there's no other way around it. If we're going to become a significant player, as we should be, we have to vote. But before we can get there, and Lydia knows this better than I, we have to get them registered, or we're never going to make the progress that we need to make.
Senators?
Well, I think there has been attention, but regrettably it's negative. And I think we need to do a better job of controlling the message and presenting the positive things that this population growth has brought to the table, both economically, in creating jobs and creating wealth for Texas, and making sure that Texas knows that they need to invest in this population to just create more of a better economy and a better Texas. And that's what we, frankly, are failing in. And we need to work with more people like you, but not just at your station in Spanish language, but we need to start focusing on who is in the media and covering news to make sure that they don't forget about the positive sides, and make sure that there's people who really can advocate, because you all really can through the media.
Sure.
We just don't have enough Latino reporters, newspaper writers that really focus on those issues. You know, the Huffington Post has done a good job of welcoming a lot of opinion pieces, blogs, but we need to do that with every major newspaper in this country. You know, one number that really struck me as you know, many of you know I was president of NALEO for 3 years, and I heard a stat during those years that really just puts it in perspective. If we looked at the Spanish-speaking populations throughout the world, and we considered Latinos being a Latino nation, in the United States, we have Latinos that if we were a nation, the only country bigger than us would be the Latino nation of Mexico. Because we have more Latinos in this country than in Spain and any of the other countries. And a big chunk of that is in Texas. So we need to start carrying a stronger message, making sure that we highlight our Latino leaders, and not just in politics, but in energy, in all the sectors, because we can't allow ourselves to just be pigeonholed on immigration and social service. We need to demonstrate that we're leaders everywhere, and again, I'll repeat it, and we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay.
Chairman?
You know, I think adding to that, I think we often get asked, and we serve on many panels, and I look throughout the crowd and see many people that have spoken on panels with, and people always ask me and others and you all, what is the single most important issue to the Hispanic community? Is it healthcare? Is it education? Is it financial empowerment? And I reflect, and I often think to myself, and I've now been speaking very aggressively about this, as I say, I think our single biggest problem is that we're 38% of the population and we don't act like it. And the minute we start acting like we're 38% of the population, some of these problems will take care of themselves. When we start voting like we're 38% of the population, the 2.1 million that Senator Oreste mentioned, I'll add the 1.3 million Latinos who are registered and do not vote. Almost 3.5 million Latinos registered and don't vote, eligible and do not register. Statewide elections being decided by 632,000 votes in the 2010 governor's race. One third of that group gets upset enough, it changes the dynamics for many, many years. So I think that's critically important. And I think that if we don't do this in healthcare and education, we will not have the healthy and educated workforce that we need to pay for with our money or solve with our brains some of the biggest challenges the state will face in the next 25 years.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
I think if you then add the number that they both have talked about, and you're doing the math, that's a lot of people, a lot of potential votes. If you add like about the 850,000, and Rosalind Gold just walked in from LA, and she can correct me if I'm wrong with the Texas number, but I think it's about 850,000 legally permanent residents who have not yet applied for citizenship. A lot of it is some choose not to, but others don't because of the high cost of the application fees and all the requirements to do that. So think if we made a change there and those 850 became citizens and then registered to vote, that makes us even more powerful, which is why some people don't want immigration reform. But again, it tells you where where we'll be in the next 5 to 10 years, and we'll be more than the 38%. And I totally agree with you. We need to start acting like it.